Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Towards the end of last year, I finally decided to purchase one of the tools that have been on my tool wish list for quite some time, the Festool CXS. And while I still love this tool, there were several things about it that I just felt like could really use an update. Well, Festool has finally decided to do that for us, so we're going to be talking about the replacement and how it compares to this. So let's get right into that on Tinker with Tools. So this is the original Festool CXS, but this model has actually been available to consumers since 2011. Now, when it first came out, it quickly became a favorite for its excellent ergonomics and the high degree of versatility that this one tool allows you to have. Now, since it was originally released, several other companies have decided to go ahead and make a similar drill driver. You have examples from Milwaukee, Bosch, Hilti, and others. As this style of tool became more popular and more manufacturers made them, one thing that became abundantly clear when I compared it to those other examples was just how much down on power this was compared to the competition. It still was arguably the nicest and smoothest tool to use in terms of ergonomics, but you'd go to do simple tasks with it and find that it just didn't quite have the power of these other tools, and especially including the Festool tax of having to pay one of the higher prices in the market for this type of tool. It just started to make less and less sense as the years went on. Now, shortly after I made that video, I found out that Festool had announced releases for their Festool CXS 18, and soon after they did make their way to the United States. It's arguably the same style of tool, but on their 18-volt platform. And then later in the summer, we did get the announcement that we had been waiting for with a new version of the CXS 12. I have it here today. We're going to go ahead and run through it. I'm going to first talk about what things are the same as the old tool, what things are different, and then we're going to go ahead and go through some simple testing to kind of determine what the differences are and if it is worth considering an upgrade to the new version of the tool. So now the new CXS 12 does look a little bit different, and we'll certainly go into the differences, but what on this tool is still the same as the old one? Well, the overall shape and design of the tool is still the same. It has the familiar C shape, and then pretty much the only other thing that remains the same is a couple of the different attachments. The standard CentraTrack quick change chuck is the exact same and is interchangeable between the two tools, and then the drill chuck is also going to be exactly the same. Aside from that and the familiar position of some of the controls, there is actually not a whole lot that is exactly the same with these tools. All right, so the first, and what I would call probably the biggest change of this tool, is going to be that it is now a brushless motor compared to the older brushed motor. Now with that brushless motor, power is going to be up as well. Previously, we were going to get 16 Newton meters max torque in the older model. This one is up to 30 Newton meters. That is a nice welcome increase in power, and although it isn't as high as some of the competition, I think it's high enough that it really does make this feel like a much more powerful tool, and it's capable of doing a lot of similar tasks. Power is never going to be the focus of this tool in my opinion, but the more power you can get out of a small compact tool like this, the more it can take the place of other bigger tools for a lot of different jobs. And so you can get by with just having one tool. Now, additionally, we are getting higher RPMs from this tool. Once again, it's much more similar to what we're seeing from the competition out there. And honestly, the added speed is welcome, and you can really notice it, especially in Speed 2. This is a new style of battery. You are not going to be able to use the old batteries from the old CXS on this tool. This is a new slide style pack that Festool has come out with. And although I wish you still had compatibility with the old batteries, I do think the move to the slide style pack does allow them to do more things, like having it charge on the same charger as their 18-volt tools and fit it into different locations or in different applications that they were plan on using it for. Instead of having the battery indicator only on the tool, there is now a battery gauge on the front of the battery. Now, as I mentioned, there is a new charger. The charger is compatible both with 12 and 18-volt tools. Now, one of the other big changes, and probably one of the reasons why it was able to shrink in length, is they moved the clutch ring from a physical clutch ring like you're used to with most drills to a little selector dial here on the back of the front guard. You do have 13 different positions. You are actually able to change the overall speed of the tool. You can really fine tune for the application you're using. And then there are two other options on the dial that have to do with the front light. Now, this light is much improved over the old tool. It's been moved down a little bit and made what I would consider to be quite a bit brighter. You also now have the ability to turn off the light, and then you also have the ability to turn it on, and once you activate it, it will stay on for 10 minutes. That is a nice feature. It's something we've seen from manufacturers like DeWalt, so including it and having that functionality here, it is still quite nice. Now, the rest of the controls on the tool are pretty much similar. There are a couple of differences with the attachments. Now the main difference is going to be with the right angle adapter. As I mentioned, the drill chuck and the other one are going to be just the same, but this one does attach differently. Unlike the old one, which had kind of a cage that went and secured its way around the tool, this one attaches a lot like the ones we've seen with the other manufacturers that make this style of tool, in that you just have this little ring, you slot it on in the position that you want, and then once you have it there, you tighten it down, and it is now secured and locked into place. I do think it's probably a better design. It makes this attachment more compact. And for the first time, these attachments are actually compatible with the 18-volt version of their tools. All right, so that's most of what is different about this tool. We're gonna do some simple testing and just kind of see how it compares to the old version of the tool. And then once we've gone through those different comparisons, we'll come back here for some conclusions. So I do want to attempt to illustrate where the power difference is going to be with this and how much the new tool can handle versus how much the old tool can handle. So first off, we're going to drive a 2.5-inch screw and a 3.5-inch screw with the old one in speed 2 and just kind of see how it handles it. All right, so now to show some of the power difference, we are going to go up to a 3.1/8-inch GRK. I understand this isn't the most common task for this tool, nor the reason why you're buying it. It's mainly to help show you the difference in the motor. So you can kind of see the power difference there. Did it completely drive it? No. And you did hear it bog down, but it still kind of found a way to kind of keep on going and drive it home. The Festool CSX12 just drove an 8-inch timber lock. Now I get that this particle board is not the hardest task it's going to confront. The fact that you can do it is remarkable and absolutely awesome. They are identical. Now I want to go to 2 and see if it does it just a little bit further. Okay, I have tried testing the precision of a clutch before on tools, and I have never achieved the repeatability of these results. In 2 different speeds, getting 2 different fasteners driven almost exactly the same is absolutely astonishing. Now by contrast, I want to do the old one just on clutch position 1, see how it compares. Pretty close. Normally I'm not too much of a fan of an E-clutch, which is what this one appears to be, but having repeatability and precision like that, I'll take whatever they're going to give me because that is absolutely incredible. Send down to speed 1. All right, so then what do you get with this tool when you purchase it? Well, there's two different versions you can buy. The first one is going to be the Festool CSX 12 2,5 Plus. That is going to be just the standard kit. It's going to come in the same sustainer from what I can tell. It is going to give you the tool, 2 batteries, a charger, and the standard drill check. If you go up to the set, which is going to be the Festool CSX 12 2,5 set, you then do also get the Festool Centrotech chuck, and then you're also going to be getting the right angle chuck that we showed you earlier today. And that kit is $350. You do get some added functionality with that extra $50, but if all you ever do is plan on using the standard drill chuck, you can save $50 and get most everything here, and if you want to upgrade later on, you can. One thing that is absent from these Festool kits that you do get with a lot of their competition is going to be kind of the offset chuck, and they do make that, but it is an added accessory that you can buy after. I'll go ahead and show you some of the different accessories you can get that are made for this tool, but then also are compatible with their 18 volt versions as well. That is one of them. They also have a drywall attachment that is going to help make this into basically a drywall screw gun. That is pretty neat as well. So there are a bunch of different attachments for this. They are a little bit pricey. That offset chuck is $139 by itself. Now I get that those prices are a little bit high. Price is never going to be something that Festool is going to be a class leader on, in my opinion. They have just decided what it costs to make their tools and what they want to sell them for, and that is what they are going to do. For the bump in performance, I do think that it makes it start to feel a little more worth it to buy into the Festool type tool, because you're at least getting something that is able to be an impressive tool in the way that it functions. So there you have it, the brand new Festool CSX 12. Today we've just been talking about how it compares to its old CXS counterpart, but in the coming weeks we are going to do a complete test against pretty much all the different installation drill drivers that are on the market today. There are a lot of them. There's a couple that I picked up in the last couple of weeks, including this one. So be on the lookout for that video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for all the support, and until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.